Hello everyone, this is JPL, and today I'm joined with...
Matthew.
And we are the Council podcast name in brackets. And today we will be talking about our top 5 best crime dramas. Okay, now how this thing normally works is that we go through our number 5, then we go on, talk about that, and then we go on to our number 4, and so forth. And yeah. Anyway, crime dramas are pretty much simple. There are movies that are surrounded crime and drama. And the way I've done my list is that our main protagonist has to be some kind of a bad guy or something. I don't know. What do you say, Matthew?
Yeah, I haven't done exactly that with my list. In some of mine, the main character is not necessarily the bad guy, but yeah, I've done movies which feature crime heavily as a driving plot force.
Okay. So why don't we get started with you on our number 5, Matthew?
Yeah. My number 5 is Nocturnal Animals. This is a smaller movie that came out in 2016, directed by the fashion designer Tom Ford, and it's just a really interesting movie. The visually, it's very well designed, as you would expect a fashion designer to design a movie. But it's very stylish. It's almost like a David Fincher movie, but the setting makes it really stand apart. And it 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 took over my thought process for a while afterwards, and it's just this really dark movie, but there's so much going on, and it's so interesting that it keeps you at the edge of your seat. It stars Amy Adams in my favorite performance that I've seen of hers, and Jake Gyllenhaal. Really well made film. It is very dark and deals with a lot of dark themes, so it's not one that I would recommend to just anyone, but it's definitely worth checking out if you can handle it.
Okay. Well, I've not seen anything about it. I believe it was in our podcast for 2016, am I right?
Yes, it was an honorable mention. It has since moved up in my list of movies from 2016, but
Okay.
yeah, really well made film.
Yeah, you can go watch that podcast if you want. Yeah. Anyway, so, continuing with number 5, my number 5 is, Goodfellas. I, I don't, I don't remember a lot about what happened in that movie. I know it's about a guy who wanted to join or become a good fella or something, which is like some kind of crime thing. The one thing that keeps coming to my mind is from Animaniacs, the birds that say, like, oh, being a good feather, something like that. You know, it's very loosely based off of Goodfellas, but yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know, crime in that and stuff like that. I believe this movie has that famous line of, "Are you calling me a chicken?" Something like that. I believe that's the movie.
Yeah,
It's harder to describe the movie again. I know there's drugs involved and there's a crime organization about this guy who's always wanted to be part of this organization, and he makes friends, and it's about his life and his wife and how that thing goes forth, and very crimey, if I would say. Sure, whatever.
yeah. I have yet to see it. I have the DVD waiting to get a good chance to watch it. But from what I've heard, it's a very well made movie
I believe
and very crime drama y.
is it Francis Ford Coppola?
No, this is Martin Scorsese,
That's right, Scorsese. That's
I
right.
believe.
Okay. Scorsese.
Another director famous for his crime
Yeah,
dramas.
one of the crime people. That's who. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I guess on to number four. My number four is Gone Girl. And this one is, well, first off, it's by David Fincher, who is another director well known for his crime dramas. And this one, I read the book and I loved the book, and so I watched the movie and I loved the movie as well. And it's about a man who may or may not have killed his wife, and it's sort of kept ambiguous through quite a bit of the film. And it's just a really gripping mystery. The acting is incredible. It's just, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. And yeah, it's kind of a mystery as well as being a crime drama, but it goes into a lot of the legal system and publicity and a whole bunch of stuff going on.
I don't know. I don't really know anything about it. I've not seen it, which seems to be a lot of things I've not seen. I don't know. I think I've heard things about it. I don't really care to watch it in the future. For reasons, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say here. Is that all we have for this one?
Yeah.
All right. So on to number 4, which is gonna be a little discussion topic here. Is Godfather Part 2. The Godfather series is a really, I would say, a well-done series. Even the third one, even though it's not as well received, even though not that well done, it's still a pretty decent movie. Second one probably being the best of the movies. It's fine for me. My issue with these movies are that they're like really too long, about 3 hours each movie. And it takes me a while to watch through them all, even though it's somewhat enjoyable. I do enjoy the story of sometimes, but it's not, personally, it's not my favorite series of all time, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I can comment too much on this as I'm still working through Godfather Part 2, but I do agree that they do get a bit long, but I feel like they justify their length. Yeah, it's a really well-made series, and yeah, definitely worth checking out, especially if you enjoy good movies, well-made movies.
Yeah. On to number 3 then.
Yeah, my number 3 is Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
What just a really great movie. It's a lot of fun. There's a whole bunch of stuff goes on. It's a whole bunch of different plot lines, and it's told in non-chronological order, and it's kind of just crazy all over the place. The writing is incredible. The way that Tarantino builds tension through conversation, and even just conversation that doesn't necessarily matter. Like, I think in the first 10 minutes of the movie, they cover hamburgers and foot massages, and yet it's completely gripping and it's really fun to watch.
Oh boy, yes it is.
Um,
Oh, I think
yeah,
I was the first one who watched this one, and I told you about it. I think I enjoyed it. I do not.
yes,
I would not say this is my favorite of the Quentin Tarantino movies. I do believe that there are other movies that are really good, just like this one. Even though this is still a really good movie. But I will say, like, you can't beat the
yeah,
iconic scene of "Say What Again" or "I Shot Marvin in the Face." You know, that funny segment there.
yes.
Really enjoyable.
There's such a yeah.
Yeah,
There's a whole bunch of like, even as like individual scenes, the movie is really fun, and then you just throw it all together, and it's hard to ignore how great it is.
Yes, it's one of those things I feel like I'm gonna need to take another look at because I've only seen it once, and I don't remember a lot about what happened in that movie. But overall, it's a really good movie.
Oh, and the song choices are really great as well.
I don't remember about the songs, but okay. So on to my number three. My number three choice would be Ocean's 11. It's one of those movies where you get the gang together to do this one mission. This movie and The Italian Job are the two movies I remember the most about something like this. They're really enjoyable. Ocean's 11, I think, is the much better, more well done version. I believe it's a fun story. It's a fun little mission. I like how things end up in the end. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the all of the Ocean's movies have like are just very fun. They aren't necessarily heavily plot driven, but um they really all do a great job of delivering the laughs, and also it's a lot of fun to watch the job get pulled off and how everything goes wrong but didn't really go wrong, and yeah.
Yeah, those are always fun to watch, even though I do feel like they shouldn't have made more than one because
Yeah, and I do think the farther you put in between watching them, the more you'll like it. I just recently saw Ocean's 8, and I really enjoyed that a lot more than some people did, and I think in part it's because I haven't seen any of the other ones in a few years, so
okay, I guess that works. All right, on to
yeah.
number two then, I guess.
Um, yep. My number two, it's another Martin Scorsese movie, and it's The Departed. And this is sort of a cat and mouse switcheroo type movie where a police officer is planted inside of this gang, and then a gang member is planted inside of the police office, and so they're trying to figure each other out, and the plot just twists all over the place, and it's very crazy. It stars Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great irony in it, and then it's also very tense. Yeah, it's a really interesting movie. It keeps you gripped on the edge of your seat for the entirety of it, trying to figure out what's going to happen next, how or if there's going to be a good ending. Um, yeah, it's a lot of fun, worth checking out.
Okay. I've not seen or heard anything about this movie, so I can't say anything about it. Except, I don't know, is this the movie where Nicholson pulls out a gun and it's an unscripted gun?
I believe maybe. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Alright, so moving on to my number two, I have a classic movie. Some people would consider this their favorite movie, and that is The Shawshank Redemption. Um, I've seen this movie twice, and I really enjoyed this movie for both times. It's a Stephen King movie, and it's done by the same guy who does if his memory serves me correctly, who does Stephen King movies good, and what I mean is he did this and The Mist, and I believe one other one, and The Green Mile, I believe, yes. And yeah, this is a really good movie, a really well done movie. I cannot say that enough. It's good. I would recommend it, not to your children. I love Morgan Freeman in it. I love the small story we got going on here. It's nice. It's a nice story and really well done at the end. So yeah, good, good, good.
Yeah, I watched it. I think it is maybe a little bit overhyped. When I watched it, I wasn't as impressed as I expected to be, but it is definitely a really well made movie. And even though I didn't like it as much as some people did, I did still enjoy watching it.
Yeah, it's still an enjoyable movie even if it's not your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my number one best crime drama is The Godfather, the first
Uh,
one, which is so far the only one I've seen completely. But this movie is really great. It takes a while to get through it, but once you do, it's totally worth it. There's just so much going on in the movie. Really brilliantly made. Um, the sort of I believe it's the last scene or it's close to last. I don't want to spoil what happens, but sort of the climax of the movie
mm.
is a lot of really interesting. The horse scene, which again I don't want to spoil, even though that does happen very near the beginning of the movie, in which I thought that can't be a real horse, only to find out that yes, it was a real horse.
Mm.
So this movie is just like incredibly well made. I I think Shawshank is a bit overrated, but watching The Godfather, it completely lived up to my very high expectations. Yeah, definitely one of the best films that I have seen.
I enjoyed it, even though I felt like it, like I've said before, that it was pretty lengthy, and I'm not really into really lengthening things unless it's something I really enjoy. But yeah, overall, I would suggest if you are a fan of stuff like this, go and watch The Godfather. It's a nice crime drama, a nice little story we got going on there, and so yeah, fun, 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 fun.
Definitely.
Yes. So okay, moving on to my number one. It's a much more friendly movie than probably other stuff on this list, and that's Catch Me If You Can. It's a nice Spielberg movie, a good John Williams score, and yeah, it follows Tom Hanks and I believe Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yep.
on this whole thing, and I believe it's partially based off a true story. And it's really enjoyable,
Yeah.
lots of fun. That is for sure. I believe you can enjoy this even if you're pretty young, even though there's a couple F words in this, I believe. Um, Overall, it's enjoyable, and I think this is like the better crime movies that I've seen because it's very friendly and something I can come back again to and not be upset about, you know?
Yeah. It's a really well made movie. It's a lot of fun. Kind of like the Ocean's movies. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but I think this one has a very deep plot,
Yes, lots of.
very clever moments.
Mm-hmm. Very nicely done. Really, really nicely paced, I would say so myself. And yeah, I just say go check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So honorable
Well,
mentions.
yeah. My honorable mentions basically anything done by David Fincher. He does some really great crime dramas, and then also anything done by Tarantino. I guess not all of those are crime, but some of them are. Um, yeah, there's a whole bunch of really great. I think crime dramas are one of the better film genres. There seem to be a lot of great examples of good ones out there.
Yeah, I've not had a lot of experience with crime dramas, just simple Scorsese stuff and some Tarantino stuff, all that good stuff. And yeah, fun times.
Yeah. Um, City of God, that one, foreign film, but very accessible. Also, the Coen brothers do some really great crime dramas. I didn't mention any of theirs here, but No Country for Old Men is incredible, and Fargo is incredible.
Yeah. Is that all we have here?
And Christopher Nolan has a few. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I believe that's all we have for today's guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.